Hello, my name is Jaqueline Januzzi and I am Edelman's Global Food and Beverage Sector Development Manager. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the trends happening in the food and beverage sector in the region. We can all agree that 2020 was a very different and difficult year. And even though across the region and across the globe, different markets had different impacts with the pandemic, the consumer reaction to it was very similar in many aspects. We don't know if this is going to stay, but we do know that there is going to be an impact on how people are going to keep cooking, eating, going out to eat, or even shopping for food moving forward. So the trend number one we're going to talk about is how food became an even more important part of our lives. Because people were staying at home and they had nowhere to go, they decided to cook much more. And they decided to cook much more because either they wanted to save money or they had to save money or because they wanted to have something to do and to relax. They got inspiration on social media. They shared more recipes on social media. And that's how the home cooking became a big trend during the pandemic and became something that we believe is going to stay in a way. Related to that trend, we've seen a lot of chefs becoming bigger content creations. They started sharing more content on their social media. They started doing more tutorials with their cooking recipes, either as a way to staying relevant with their customers, but also to making some revenue by selling meal kits or just by increasing their views on social media. The third part of that trend is a bigger support for small and local businesses. A lot of people have shifted from a job that they had before the pandemic to cooking at home and selling those products. And a lot of people decided to support that. Technology gained a much bigger space in our lives during the pandemic, and that happened across the region. So consumers of all ages decided to purchase more online, either groceries or ordering food. And with that, we've seen an increase on the appearance of ghost kitchens, which are the restaurants focused on delivery only. So in Brazil, for example, Alex Atala, which is a very famous chef, decided to create a restaurant that's focused on delivery only. And that's a reality across the region and also across the globe. And even restaurants that don't have a delivery app, for example, that don't partner with a delivery app, have had to find ways to communicate with their consumers. So they've done their own work on Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger to keep in touch with their consumers. The third trend we're going to see is around sustainability. So sustainability did take a step forward during the pandemic, which is with the increase of plant-based, which is a big trend that's here to stay. So plant-based meals, plant-based milk and meat, for example, are a big trend and are going to, be growing even more in the future. But the step back that sustainability has seen was more toward the use of plastics. For example, with the whole increasing delivery, we've seen a lot of containers, forks, knives, plastic bags becoming part of the system, right? We've also seen people going to the grocery store and using plastic bags again instead of using their reusable bags because they were told that they were more safe to use. There was also a big economic impact on how people would buy sustainable options because of the crisis, they decided to now focus more on affordable options versus focusing on sustainable options that sometimes are more expensive. And the fourth trend that we're going to talk about is a return to health, but with a little bit of space for comfort food. At the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a big focus on comfort foods. People were cooking, they were anxious, they wanted to eat something comfortable. So we saw a big increase in recipe search for bolinho de chuva, which is a delicious snack we eat in a rainy day in Brazil, for example. Moving more ahead in the pandemic, people decided to focus a little bit more in health, either because they wanted to boost their immunity to fight the disease, or they wanted to lose weight, or they just wanted to eat healthier and fresher. Now we are living in a phase where the focus is still big on health, but people are giving a little bit of space for things that taste good. They need to bring some comfort. They also need to add something to them, like a feeling of well-being or fighting some of the stress that they're going through. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed a brief overview of the trends. If you do want to know more, check our website, our social media channels, or send us an email, and we will reach out to you and share more material back. Thank you. Bye-bye.